Okay, folks, it's time to get started, and if you haven't been paying attention to your calendar, we're setting the calendar for day 21, which happens to be tomorrow. The closer we get to day 41, the better I like it. Day 41, because I'll be home. Okay, I want to ask Representative Rogers if he'll open us with prayer.
Let's pray. Lord, for this day, we're grateful. We're grateful for your many blessings. We're grateful for the opportunity to be here and to live in a country and a state where we're free to come and to talk about issues and to debate. We ask, Lord, that in all things that you glorify yourself and that you give us the wisdom and the justice and the moderation to look at these bills and to come out with good legislation. We know that there are people that are hurting, both in the halls, out of the halls, and throughout. We pray your blessings on them. And we ask that in all that we do and all that we say, that we honor and glorify you. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you, sir. All right. First, where did he go? Ron, right here. Oh, okay. I'm gonna call on Chairman Ron Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that House Bill 244 move back to the committee from which it came.
Okay, I hear a second. All in favor say aye. It's done. Thank you, sir. Go have your meeting. Okay. It's a shady-looking group over there against the wall, I'm telling you. Yeah, almost. Yeah, it's almost pitiful. Yeah, just. All right, Representative Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for the record, I did encourage Representative Montahan not to park in your spot
No, I appreciate
during
that.
the rain. I don't know what he was
Now,
thinking.
if-
You've got to watch these young
If
gentlemen.
anybody's planning any funny business along that, I heard somebody was talking about dropping a bill on that as it relates to that. You can forget ever having a bill passed. And if you didn't catch that word ever, okay.
The second bill on your seat is HB 859. I ask for your consideration regarding it. I'm going to throw out these two words, and it's going to raise your hackles up a little bit. Window tinting. But this does nothing regarding light refraction that comes through the windshield. I'm not touching anything to do with the window tinting, but it basically standardizes the fine for a state violation. If I called 12 different municipalities, and I've got 12 different widely varying penalties for the same violation. There are some communities that, quite frankly, are using it as a significant revenue source rather than a public service deal. So this, if I get caught with not having a seatbelt on, if I'm in Ashburn or in Alpharetta, it's $15. It's more if there are kids in the back. But it's a standard fee for a state violation across this great state. So it's $25 is what, not more than $25. So that's the bill.
One quick question.
Yes, sir.
Let's say someone from another state is traveling through Georgia, and that other state has a different law as it relates to this.
And thank you for bringing that to my attention, Mr. Chairman. Other states do. In fact, Florida, it's hot as blue blazes down there, and virtually every car down there has some measure of window tint on it because, it's a safety thing. And I can imagine leaving Lake City, Florida, with my kids in tow, going to see Grandma in Roswell. And I'm ready to spend money in hotels and agritourism, and I have a bad taste of Georgia in my mouth when I get hit with a $500 window tint violation. We in this body actually tried to fix that several years ago, if you recall, with a window tint bill that Supreme Court ruled that you can't treat other states differently. So this is just a way that, I did not want to touch the refraction of light regarding window tint, because if law enforcement needs a reason to pull someone over because they're suspicious, and the window tint, this is a public safety thing. There is a still penalty, but it's statewide, so.
Okay. Chairman Fleming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, we began to talk about this, and then we ran out of time right at the beginning. If I understand it correctly, and I'm sure this came out in your discussions, the purpose of the window tinting laws that we have and the fines that we put on people is because, well, at least one reason, so law enforcement can see into the vehicle, particularly on the driver's side. That's one of the reasons we do it, right?
According to Colonel Hitchens, yes, sir, and
Okay.
he's the one I went through.
So the other thing that I noticed in the bill, it lowers the fine to $25. It appears to be the max, but it also appears to take off any other things, what has been referred down here as tack-ons before.
Courtesy of Chairman Allen Powell.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So I know that those tack-ons go to do things like to fund accident injury victim funds. It goes to retirement of police officers. Is some of those things that we're taking off here in those areas?
I don't have an answer to that, but as it came through public safety, there was that was not part of the original bill, but it was amended to make sure there were no additional tack-ons to the fine.
Well, the
So
chairman,
the fine is the fine.
The chairman may be able to answer it for me later, Chairman
Okay.
Powell, but my question was going to be, if we are taking off things for police officer retirement funds, for by example, we are affecting a retirement system. And I wondered what kind of consideration had to be given for that, because we have a rule down here that if you're going to do a retirement bill, you have to, that's going to affect retirement. You got to introduce it in year 1 and pass it in year 2. Just curious.
And that is true, and I thank you for the question. But this bill, and I don't think we really want to fund retirement. You know, this is ancillary. Okay, this also benefits retirement, but at the point of providing a standardization of the fine across this great state, I did not object to Chairman Powell's amendment.
Maybe you could find the answer
Okay.
for me later for
Yes,
that.
sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your consideration, and I know your intent is good, but in a military town, there are some states, excuse me, it's similar to what Representative Fenton is asking. There are some states that have a lot of military people in my town, like Florida, like Arizona, that have very deep tents. Everybody has tents.
Yes, sir.
And I've found that it's all over the place, even in my county. It's a visual thing. And most towns that are real tough on them, for revenue reasons, also a little speed trap towns. So I can go in municipal court and just see it, and usually it's lower ranking military people or just everyday working people that get zapped. Other folk get told to go home and lighten up on those windows. I still think, in spite of the problems, it's a local call. I really think it should be local. That's just my feelings.
Well, like I say, we're not going to discuss bills here. We're just going to take a look at them and see if they're ready to go. That's okay. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Bring before you House Bill 842, presented yesterday, which is Gracie's Law. This prevents discrimination for someone for developmental or physical disabilities from organ and tissue transplant. It just prevents that from taking place.
Okay, see no lights on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Representative Belton, or Chairman Belton, excuse me.
Thank you, Chairman, and members of the committee. Last year, we passed 4 different compact bills. The compact bills were asked for by the United States military to help, specifically for the military, to help spouses be able to practice physical therapy and psychology Actually, the compact bills helps everyone do that.
What's your bill number?
House Bill 752, Modified Structured Rule.
Okay.
This, unfortunately, the FBI did not like the way we had written these compacts, and we had to add a fingerprint check into them. So what this bill does is it adds the fingerprint check required for physical therapists and psychologists. Both boards have agreed to do this, and would like to proceed.
Okay. No questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Sherm.
Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today I have two bills in the Rules Committee. Members, I have two bills in the Rules Committee I'd like to present today. First bill is going to be House Bill 463. This deals with a safety requirement on three-wheeled autocycles, a very specific type of vehicle, that changing the requirement if you have handlebars to have goggles and a helmet. And I think this is just kind of brings in alignment with some of the other vehicles in our state. Would you like me to stop there and take questions on that bill, Mr. Chairman?
I see no questions. Go on to your second one.
Okay. The second bill, Mr. Chairman, is House Bill 807 as it relates to the certifying, and I'll say this, it basically allows businesses to provide affidavits of certified public accountants in lieu of tax returns for occupational tax reasons. And that about sums up the bill, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Chairman Powell, you were hiding back there.
Thank you. Not easy for me to hide, but I want you to back up to 463. Is it not true that what this bill does is a continuing attempt that we've done for several years, and that's to clean up the definition of not a motorcycle, these three-wheel, but not a trike, is commonly called a trike, but an autocycle? Is that not what this does, so that people that are driving these autocycles, so that they don't have to wear helmets and stuff like that in these many cars?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's absolutely right. And basically what it does is you can imagine being in an enclosed vehicle with an enclosed surround and still having to wear, with a seatbelt, and still having to wear a goggles and helmet. When you restrain the torso and your head moves forward with that much weight on your head, it can cause a fatal accident, even at low speeds of 30 miles per hour. So
Is it not also true that I appreciate you handling this so I don't have to, and this might give you something worthwhile to pass?
Yes,
It might
Mr.
be the
Chairman.
only thing he may pass.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman Fleming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is on your other bill, HB 807. So as I read on line 22 of the bill, who makes the determination as to what is a regulatory activity and what is a general operation?
That would be the local municipality.
What issue, what problem do we have there we're trying to solve?
That's right. So the problem that we have, it's already state code that you have to address a regulatory fee. You have to approximate its cost, but unfortunately, that's not happening today. So we're kind of revisiting this issue with the regulatory fees to say that if you have these fees and you take these fees in, that they have to be used to regulate that specific instance. So if I have a building permit, for example, I cannot accrue a fine for a building permit and then use it for general government.
Over on the next page is the other change, line 30. What problem are we trying to solve on that second part?
I'm sorry.
Your second part of the bill on line 30, it was where it talks about that an affidavit may be provided by a certified public accountant in lieu of tax returns. What problem are we trying to solve there?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the question. So the genesis of that comes from my local city, and basically what happened is you have the current code states that a city, municipality, or local government can actually ask for any and all financial data to certify the results of gross receipts. What this does is it gives privacy to a small business. They have very proprietary, if you can imagine a HVAC contractor that has a very proprietary negotiation with a vendor like Train or Carrier or somebody else, we want to make sure that there's some privacy in that negotiation. We don't want to be opening up general ledgers, expense reports, and otherwise to a local government, just for the sake of privacy and the privacy of those contracts and negotiations.
There was at one point a few years back a problem that we attempted to solve by certain retailers, particularly convenience stores, not reporting their sales tax. You would go into a retailer and they have two cash registers, one for cash and one for credit cards at the period.
Sure.
And the local governments were employed by the Department of Revenue, as I recall, to do investigations of some of these entities, and I don't know the status of that program. Will your change to this code section affect the ability to look into, investigate other actions of a store that is potentially not in compliance with parts of our tax laws?
So while we did not specifically address that question, this only has to do with occupational tax, or what people know as colloquially a business license in their local municipality. So we're not really getting to the sales tax or Department of Revenue side of things. We're just talking about the certification of a gross receipts number that's used only for an occupational tax reason, and such is the code section.
Is that, why is it that it only affects that and not anything else?
Well, because
Excuse me a second. If y'all don't mind meeting after session, after the meeting, so we can
I'll
go.
try to get the answer from him later. Thank you, sir.
Okay, very good, thank you. All right, thank you, sir.
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, that's all that we have on the wall. Chairman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to ask for House Bill 987. It's the last under modified structured rule. This is the assisted living legislation that adds basic regulations to assisted living facilities and memory care units in hopes of solving many of the problems that we've been reading about in the AJC that are happening across our state.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, Chairman Tanner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to put my name beside House Bill 807.
Okay. Representative Rogers. Yes. Are you, okay. Well, I don't see any more lights on. I want to tell you, oh, Chairman Powell? Okay.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to put my name beside HB 463 and 842.
You did that yesterday, too. Okay, thank you. I don't see any more lights on, but getting back to what I was fixing to say, y'all need to tell these legislators who don't come and ask for their bill, it will not make it to the floor. And we've got 2 on today's calendar that they didn't come ask, and they potentially could have made it to the floor for tomorrow. We've got other instances where that has occurred. So when you see, if you are a committee chair and you know some folks who have a bill out of your committee, tell them that they need to keep an eye on these blue sheets and then get it from the clerk's office, because if they don't come ask for the bill, it's gone. And after 2 or 3 days, it jumps back on the general calendar, and it may not pass this session. So if it don't pass, then you got next year that you get to refile. So, okay, let's set the calendar for day 21. Modified open. House Bill 463. Got to move. Have a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. It's on. House Bill 859. Got to move. Have a second. Got a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Okay. All in favor, raise your right hand. In his case, his left. Or just raise a hand. Any hand, yeah. Okay, all opposed? All right, it passes, so it's on. All right, modified structure, House Bill 555. Did I hear a move? Hear a second? All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Okay, it's on. Representative Cooper, House Bill 987. Did I hear a move? Did I hear a second? All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. It's on. Okay, House Bill 752. Did I hear a move? Did I hear a second? All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Chairman Powell, House Bill 842. Do I hear a move? Okay. I'm not even going to ask for anybody opposed to it. 842 is going to be on the calendar. So I got 463 for tomorrow. And this is a Friday calendar, people. 463, 859, 555, 752, 842, and 987. That's a calendar for tomorrow.